Productions. Hey everybody, Sickinger here. We're going to be playing some D3. I'm going to go through and do the two bonus sets for the bounties. Give me some blood shards and generally just go around and farm some stuff. Maybe run through Whymshire and kill Whymshire, because it's just, you know, like I said before, I think it's freaking hysterical. So anyway, I'll be running through here, show you all the elite mobs that I run into. Show you guys my barbarian and the build that I use on him. For now, I'm running a pretty basic whirlwind build. I'm trying to stack up lightning, but as of right now, I actually do not have any but one piece of lightning gear. So my damage and my crits aren't really that high. Once I find some more, I'll be pushing out some pretty insane numbers. But for now, it's just basic lower damage. So I'll just run through and show you the survivability of this build, because the extra gear is really just going to be making me do more damage. It's not going to... Well, when I get the actual, like, really good gear, it'll bring my survivability up quite a bit, but just basic lightning damage gear is just going to make the damage higher, so these mobs will be dropping a lot quicker. But even with doing the lower damage, I mean, you can see this build's actually one of the better barbarian builds. You see it on a lot of people's videos lately. And when I picked up the one piece of lightning gear, I figured, yeah, why not throw around a lightning build and see how that does for me, because before I was just running basically a basic survival build that didn't really push out a lot of damage, but it was good in groups for just tanking everything, because I could just sit there and live forever, but I couldn't really push out any DPS. So when I was trying to go out in solo like this, and trying to go out and find legendaries and farm out legendaries, wasn't doing so good. I mean, I was having a real hard time, even on Torment 1, to killing stuff quickly, because I just wasn't pushing out good damage. So, now, even with just switching the spec up and only having the one piece of gear, the damage increases pretty good. My survivability is still pretty good. I did have to sacrifice the piece of gear that I had that made me invulnerable to arcane damage, which kind of sucks, because when you run into arcane mobs, it's not really fun having to sit there and try and dance around all that crap with a Barb, but it's alright. I managed just fine. You can see how fast, even on the torments, they don't really live too awful long. You know, see right there, just drop a champion mob pretty easily. Health didn't really get too low. He died relatively quick, you know, without having lightning damage stacked up yet. It's, you know, it is what it is. I'm not too worried about it. Once I get better gear, it'll be going a hell of a lot faster, and I'll be having a lot more life, like I said. So, with it working the way it is right now, I'm relatively pleased with it, and it can only get better from there. So that's not too bad. I just really got to wait on the RNG of the game to drop me, you know, good legendaries and legendaries with the stats that I need on them to really stack up this lightning build. Alright, so right here I'm on the second bounty. It's killing the Skeleton King, so you can kind of see what it does one-on-one with a boss. I think it works pretty well, honestly. The Frenzy helps you really keep your rage up, and at the same time with the stun, works on a good majority of the bosses in the game. So it works out really nicely. And Whirlwind, the damage is a lot lower, but at the same time I'm hitting so much that my crits are going off like crazy. And I'm actually doing about 2 times the amount of damage as I am just throwing off the Frenzy, so can't complain about that. So basically just trying to keep him stunned right here, and you can see how fast his health's going down. It's not too bad at all. And once he drops a group, I'm going to go ahead and Whirlwind. I wait till he drops them because that gives me maximum fury regeneration because I'm hitting multiple guys at once, so I'm not really wasting through fury with the whirlwind attacks. And I go back to just stunning him, waiting for him to spawn some more guys. See, even him hitting me with his heavy attack right there, it's not really doing much. That's the nice thing too, is one of my weapons has a freeze on hit too. So I'm not only stunning him with frenzy, but my freeze is catching him quite a bit. It's really nice when you run into those bosses that aren't immune to the freeze or the stun, so you just kind of wipe through them like this, and they can't really even do much damage to you. So survivability is not that big of an issue. And he's going down pretty quick, and there he's down. So that's just a pretty good example of how this build works. I mean, even, like I said before, even without the great gear on, that really complements this build and makes it worth having, this build's pretty solid. So I'm liking it a lot right now. Clearing through these bounties pretty quickly. Not as quickly and as efficiently as I'd like, but we'll definitely be a lot faster once I get some gear out of it, which is the whole point of me farming the bounties and farming the rifts. So in this video, I'm going to run through the bounties on both the bonus levels. I'm going to run through a rift, and also also going to go ahead and run through Whymshire. And I won't speed through Whymshire. I'll actually leave the entire video of that one up there because I find it pretty comical, and I know quite a few people who think it's kind of amusing too. I don't normally bother trying to speed through the shrine and chest bounties unless I can actually manage to kill the mobs in a decent amount of time for the next waves to spawn. Most of the time, I will literally just click on it, wait for the timer to expire, and then kill the first set so it just hurries up. But if you manage to get to the 5th mob, it normally spawns a champion. So it's worth doing because you get an extra chance to drop a legendary on it, but only if you can do it quickly and efficiently, like I said. And I almost got the last one of that. I probably should have just skipped that one out and just let it go through. That's alright, still one more bounty done, so I can go on to the next one. Now, on my way to bounties, though, I always stop to kill elite packs and, of course, treasure goblins. Now, see, right here, treasure goblins normally aren't that easy for a barb to put down. And look at that. Dropped him right off the bat. And got a green out of it, so it's not too bad. And then right here, after the treasure goblin, I ran into a champion pack, and I already had berserker on, so they go down pretty quick, too. And, yeah, most of these elite packs I've been killing so far, I haven't even had my berserker off or my guys out. So you can see how much damage I'm doing, you know, just with the basic DPS and none of my real big heavy hitters out. Haven't been summoning the council, haven't been going to Zerk mode except for that last one right there that I just hit. So you can really see where the damage on this is going to increase dramatically. And see, look at that, just off the resplendent chest off one of these bounties, I got another orange in it. It was literally maybe 5 minutes after I got that green off the treasure goblin, so it's not bad at all. Now the green was just a plan for the blacksmith, and the legendary that dropped was just a mat, but that's an orange and a green dropped. So I've seen quite a few videos of people trying to do chest runs and whatnot. I really think the most effective way to, one, power level your guys, get your Paragon level up really good, and at the same time get a really good drop rate for legendaries if you can speed through the torment difficulties, is by just running bounties on the 2 bonus bounties, because you do get the extra shards from it. And then right after you run those, run through Whymshire, because there's a lot of mats that drop out of there for the plans that you get from the blacksmith. But only run Whymshire if you don't have better gear on hand, because the plans the blacksmith can produce, they're pretty outstanding, but there are a lot of drop items that are a lot better than them. Now, if you don't have the ability to do about T4 or better, then the blacksmith's legendary and green builds are probably better than what you have. But if you're already running T4, T5, T6, I wouldn't even bother with them, because you can find better gear at that point than you can building it. Alright, and here we go. One of the bonuses done. We're going to go ahead and open the chest up right now. And no legendary, but that's alright. Pick everything up and make mats out of it. It's no biggie. And seeing as we're already here in Tristan, we're going to go ahead and go run Whymshire right now. I am using the wrong follower right now. I wasn't really paying attention, didn't pick up the sorceress like I should have, but my sorceress doesn't really have the best gear either, so... Or, enchantress, not sorceress, my bad. I love going through Whymshire. I've only encountered the bosses that I need to in here for the items I need to drop twice, and neither time have they actually dropped what I needed. So pretty unlucky when it comes to me running through here, but it's still always fun going through and killing ponies and Care Bears and crap out of here. So anyway, this build is really reliant on the 20% damage from the blood explosion that you get from the multiple skills that you have on it. So it's really best to group up as many mobs as you can handle and still live through before you start whirlwinding around like crazy. So really the basic of this build is having tons of mobs around you, whirlwinding, and making sure you have a really, really high crit chance before you worry about crit damage or any of that stuff, because the 20% damage that goes off, I do not believe your crit chance really, or your crit damage really matters when it goes to that 20% damage. It's base damage off that. But you want your crit chance high because that's what makes that 20% blood explosion go off. So right there you can see the blood explosion going off. And the more guys you have around you, the more it keeps proccing off them and smacking into each other, and you drop groups really fast, even with the lower DPS that I'm kicking out right now. I mean, I'm only critting, you know, at most in like a million. Not even in the multiples of millions or anything like that, and I'm still dropping large groups very quickly. It works really well for elite mobs too if you manage to get a really good solid group of guys around them and you start spinning around like crazy like that. By the time the normal mobs die, the elite pack is normally down to about 3/4 or at least half health, so it helps a lot. I don't normally like stopping to kill one or two guys. I'll just skip them by, but when I'm in Whymshire, I like killing everything just because I'm sadistic like that, because, you know, ponies and Care Bears, they need to die. But anyway, I'll go ahead and highlight the basics of this build, and can't really show off the gear that you'd like to have with it because I don't have it yet, but I'll go ahead and make another video later on highlighting my preferences when it comes to this build, and I can kind of explain what sort of gear you want to have with it, because I don't really have a lot of the lightning gear right now because I'm just recently starting to go around and try and collect it. So it's going to take me a little while to get it, because I don't play Diablo 3 a huge amount. I might play it a couple nights a week, if that. I really do enjoy playing it, but it's really time consuming. And then editing these videos takes quite a while too. But that's alright, it's all fun for me. I like making these videos, or else obviously I wouldn't be doing it for you guys. So, with the Enchantress, you want to actually stack up her abilities. Actually, the best thing to do is, I believe there's a ring. I'm not sure where it falls at. I might actually look that up myself and go farm that for a while. There's a ring that's supposed to let her use all of her abilities. But if you don't have it, you definitely want to have the abilities that make her give you more crit chance. Because obviously, like I said, the entire basis of this build is crit chance and you getting explosions of blood. And the additional damage you get from the lightning damage is insane once you have lightning gear. But even without the lightning gear, all because of those blood explosions, this build works really well. Right now, I think I'm sitting around almost 12 million toughness, which is just absurd, because once you have the really good gear for this, you can just max out your DPS and sit probably around 8 million toughness and be fine, even in Torment 6, as long as you're doing a good job kiting the mobs around, getting them into a big group, and then just whirlwinding through them. Now, see, that is another thing that I changed with this. Normally, people running this build don't bother with the Call of the Ancients. They'll try and put another escape method in there, whether it's leap or, you know, something of that sort. I'm good with Whirlwind. I mean, I can escape by just spinning through guys, because I'm almost always maxed out on Fury, so I start getting low on health, I can pop a pot and just kind of spin away from the damage and let myself, you know, heal up a little bit that way. I haven't really had to worry about that too awful much. There's been a couple times that I've run into like 2 or 3 elite packs at the same time, and that tends to be a little much. even with the 11 million toughness, because I just don't manage to do enough damage to them quick enough, and they're just doing some massive DPS when you get 3 or 4 of them on you like that. But once I get the lightning gear and a lot better lightning percentage, that's not really going to be a problem. But you can see what I mean right here with getting rid of that ring that made me actually heal by being hit by Arcane is really depressing, because you see how fast my health went down right there, just getting rolled over by 2 of those. Arcane's a pretty beastly one to run into. All the way back from D2, it's one of my least favorite mobs to run into. It's just a real pain, and I like using melee characters like the Barbarian and the Crusader. So the Arcane Torrent's just really annoying. It's not so bad with ranged characters because you can just kind of move away from it and keep shooting still. But with melee, you have to try and kite the mob back away from his arcanes. By the time you get him away, he's put down 2 or 3 more. It's just, ugh. So yeah, rolling through Whymshire and just wrecking a bunch of Care Bears and ponies here. As always, make sure you guys comment on the video and let me know what you do and don't like. If you'd like to see other stuff in the game, or if you'd like to see other games. And I'll definitely try and add some more content to my channel when I have time to. For now, I'm just really enjoying making this video. I'm about done with Whymshire right now, but haven't ran into any legendary drops in here or any of the guys that I needed to drop the mats for the plans I'd like to make. So, once again, big disappointment here. I have really bad luck in here. So I'm almost done, and if I remember correctly, I didn't actually run into any of the guys I need to, nor did a legendary drop in here anyway. But that's alright. It's always fun to kick around some Care Bears and watch their blood flow. Now, personally, not even sure what patch it was, but since they patched it, I don't even bother stopping to click on the clouds anymore, because 99% of the time they don't drop anything, and when they do, it's normally just a little bit of a piddly amount of gold. So it's not really worth my time to stop and click on all of them, and maybe 1 or 2 of them will drop a little bit of gold for me. So I just kind of ignore them and keep going. Well, here we go. Extra health mobs. Those are, or not extra health, health link mobs. Those are always amusing. Well, you just sit there and DPS the crap out of one of them and all of them start losing health. It's great. We got another champion elite pack right there. And once again, he's being affected by my stun a little bit. He's actually doing better against the ice and the stun than the bosses in the game do, which is kind of funny. And still, no legendary or anything. That's kind of depressing. And this is the last little bit, I'm pretty sure, so this will be the last elite mob right here. This guy spawns every single time I come in here. I'm not sure if that's 100% spawn rate on him, or if I'm just running into him an awfully strange amount of times. But yeah, there you go. In case you guys haven't seen it before, or in case you have and you just think it's hysterical as I do, that's Whymshire for you. And I'm off to the next area that has all of the bonus blood shard bounties. I don't remember if I said this before or not, but there's actually a reason that I only do the bonus ones, because you get such a large amount of blood shards for them. It's not really effective to keep running all the bounties as it is to just run these ones. Because you do have... oh yeah, if you run all the bounties, you might have a better chance of legendaries dropping as you're running them, but you're going to get far less blood shards in the amount of time it takes you to do the bounties. So it's really quicker to just restart the game and go back and just do the bonus bounties. So really, I don't bother doing the other ones hardly ever. I mean, if I got a group with me, then I'll stay and do all the bounties with them. But most of the time in a group, people are just trying to run rifts nonstop anyway. The hell, I was with a group, we did 13 or 14 rifts in a row, and then finally we started doing some bounties because everybody was running pretty low on key fragments to do the rifts. Now right there I killed part of Elite Pack. I noticed that I didn't get any good drops off of it, so I figured there's got to be the rest of the elite pack over here somewhere. And yep, there we go. I got jailered, so there it is. Not sure why it was so spread far apart like that, but doesn't really matter. Wipe this one out. And I love the illusionist ones because you can actually proc your blood explosion off of the illusions. So every time they make an illusion like that, it's actually helping you out. See, I didn't bother with that one right there because there's only one left, so I'm just going to sit there and pound on him with Fury. I mean, Frenzy, not Fury. Derp. Oh boy, I'm so great with words, I tell you. I popped this section in there because it was a nice little quest that I ran into off the side. Saw the little castle built up there, and I've done this one before. Him and his servants are trying to build a castle out in the swamp. Gee, I wonder why it didn't work for him. And again, no legendaries or nothing. So unfortunately, so far, I think I've only had 2 legendaries drop, which is really odd. Normally, when I'm running through the bounties like this, I'll get 1 to 2 of them per bounty that I do. Actually, you're looking at roughly anywhere from 4 to 10 legendaries an hour if you're running these bounties effectively. Which actually, I'm not running them as effectively as I could be. This is actually pretty slow comparatively, especially if you're using a ranged class. Like Witch Doctor, hell, even the Crusader's pushing out pretty good DPS. But if you're running a Hunter or Witch Doctor or something like that, you're going to be able to fly through these rifts a lot faster. You just got to be more careful with your, getting hit, obviously. But I really like my Barb, just like I did in D2, so I sit there and play him quite a bit. Now, like this one, unfortunately, I wasn't really getting a lot of good explosions, and my cooldowns were all down, so I don't think I killed this group in time to get the bonus chest. Oh, no, maybe I did. They're actually going down. Okay, yeah, I did. Oh, see, that just shows you once again there, even in the build with not having your cooldowns up, you can roll through. And like I said, this is what's really weak gear for this build. I mean, there's only one piece of gear that gives me any bonus lightning damage. My crit chance is at, I believe, damn near 60%, but my crit damage itself is only about 312. So this build is definitely not, it's not the greatest gear for this build, and it still wipes out legendaries and elite packs just fine. So I'm really pleased with it. So hopefully people seeing this and possibly the other lightning build videos on here will inspire a few people to move back to using the Barbarian again, because I don't see a lot of them being played anymore when I join groups. It's a lot of Crusaders and ranged classes, and I'm kind of forced to sit there and try and tank stuff by myself while everybody else just sits back in their safety. Which, that is what the Barbarian's for, but it still kind of sucks being the only one out there. Because I really do enjoy this class, and I like playing it and seeing other people's really good effective builds for it. The fire build kind of bores me, so I'm not even going to bother trying to go that route. I did make a mistake. I had, can't think of the name right this second. I did have the legendary two-handed sword that summons the demon to fight by you. And unfortunately, I didn't think about giving it to my enchantress like I've seen in some people's videos, which is actually a really smart idea because it keeps her safe, and it would give me an extra body out there to kind of soak up some damage if I need to get away from the fight for a second to heal up. But, you know, it is what it is. I'll probably end up finding one again anyway because I'm going to be farming a lot of stuff. And these mobs annoy me. Feed them down a little while, they break out of their shell and jump underground. And unfortunately, right there, I didn't think to get him with Frenzy to stun lock him so he couldn't go back under the ground. I just kind of whirlwinded through him a few times, hoping to kill him faster. That was a mistake. I probably should have just frenzied him and frozen him from going under. That's alright, he still went down. So we're sitting at, I believe, 4 legendaries now, which still isn't horrible, because at this point I think I'd only been playing for roughly 40 minutes, so that's still 3 in less than an hour. So that's a really good rate, because before a decent rate used to be 2 an hour. So I'm already sitting above that. So I'll take it. This is another reason that I like doing the bounties, because you run into a lot of elite packs doing them, and you're getting the key fragments you need to do the rifts. Now, I know a lot of people just like running straight rifts, but you have to get your free key fragments eventually. So it's best to do the bonus bounties, so you can get back to the the real good legendary dropper, which is really running around and doing the riffs. Now, ultimately, I'm really just trying to gear my guy out enough to be able to run T6 smoothly, solo or in a group, so I can think about going and doing Ubers, because those sound like fun to me. Especially seeing as basically all of the videos I've seen of people taking on the Ubers have been ranged classes to try and maximize DPS and using some kind of pet build with one of the guys. I'd like to start running in there with Barbs and get people thinking about, you know, using the elite classes again. Because you can push out a good bit of damage and you don't have to worry so much about survivability as you do with these ranged classes. I mean, yeah, they can out DPS it by a good bit, but I mean, if you get one or two of them in your party and then a really good melee guy that can just sit there and tank it, you're not losing a ton of DPS, but you're gaining a lot of survivability because you don't have to worry. You don't have to worry as much about your guys all dying because you've got somebody up there really keeping their attention and, you know, taking the damage for you. So yeah, every now and then you're still going to get stuff spit at you, but it calms the screen down a lot more, and it makes it a lot safer for the ranged guys. So I'm not sure why more people aren't running it. I guess nobody wants to be the workhorse per se. Like, you're not really doing all the work, but you're the one taking all the risk and all the damage, especially if you play in hardcore mode, because you're up front, you know, in the heat of everything, while everybody else is kind of sitting back watching you take a beating. There's one big thing about the Diablo games that I'd like to see in the future, whether it's with, you know, maybe another expansion for D3, which I don't think they'll do because they've only done one expansion for D2, and I don't think this really warrants a third expansion. I mean, there's not much left for them to push. That would be a little over. But anyway, maybe like a D4 or something like that. I really think they should branch out into a semi-healing class that has the ability to heal other party members. That's, you know, some more party-intensive classes, you know, that are a real challenge to play solo and are really meant for party playing. You know, just ones that really focus on buffing your party, debuffing the enemy, and healing. I think that'd be a great addition. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about that one. I think it'd be pretty fun. Like, in WoW, for a long time, I never wanted to make a tank or a healer because I thought it was boring. And then I made a priest and I had a lot of fun doing it. And it was really easy to me, actually. I didn't understand why we're doing certain raids and having healers just wipe and wipe and wipe. Yeah, I think there's a place for it in Diablo. I think it'd be pretty fun. And right here is actually one of my favorite and most lucrative events in D3 altogether, I think. You get 5 elites to kill, so you have right there, that's 5 chances to get a legendary drop, or a good chances to get a legendary drop. And then the door opens to this chamber, and it's almost guaranteed. I haven't hit this one once where I haven't gotten at least 1 legendary out of this. The last time I got it, I actually got 3 legendaries. There were 2 inside the room and 1 off one of these elites, so this is one of my favorite ones to end up running into in here. And the bosses really aren't that hard to kill. I mean, they go down pretty easily. And see right there, the only reason I got caught by that was a little lag spike right there at the end that pulled me back into the ice. So, whatever, no biggie. I go over to the next one that spawned and just wipe him out too. And see, fear's kind of annoying. See, fear is the only big downside to melee classes, is being feared away from the enemy all the time is just, it can really get annoying. And if your toughness isn't up there, being feared away, if you have a lot of life on hit and that's how you survive, being feared away can really hurt you. Because as you're running away, you're obviously not healing, and as you're running back to the mob, you're not healing. So that could really jack you up. It's a really annoying CC for your character too. But yeah, I mean, I really do think that more group-friendly classes have a really good place in Diablo. So right here you can still see the stuns are working really good on these guys, which actually that's a nice reason to have Frenzy with the stun on here too, is when you run into jailer elites like this, they jail you and your whirlwind stops, and you can just start pounding on them with Frenzy, and Frenzy does a good bit of DPS by itself because of the attack speed. And it's got great survivability because of stun on it. And also, there is the rune that I'm using right now that stuns them, that turns damage into lightning damage. So, with all the lightning items that you can get in the game for this lightning build, that actually synergizes really, really well for the build. You see right here, I'll show you what I'm talking about. You pop the chest and oh wow, that's the first time I've actually not gotten a legendary out of that. I'm kind of surprised. Well, that's kind of disappointing, but you know, whatever, it happens. Now we'll go onward and kill Adria here and finish off this bounty. You can see how fast her health goes down too. It's pretty insane. Look at that. She's kind of melting, which is by herself. There's nobody around her to proc the blood explosions, and it's single target damage with a melee character. I mean, this build is really insane. I mean, I would love to see what kind of damage I'll be pulling off once I get the full sets of lightning gear on this guy. I've seen some videos where with the blood explosions with a big enough pack, I've seen guys, you know, critting for like 60 million with a barbarian. That's insanity to me. I mean, I'm lucky to get when I was running the other build that actually synergized better with the gear I'm wearing right now. I was lucky to get, you know, 6 or 7 million on a crit. So seeing, you know, 60 million on a Barb is nuts to me. But you know, it gave me hope for my barbarian again, because before ROS came out, yeah, I was really tanky. I had great survivability, great toughness, but man, it took forever for me to kill bosses, especially if I was soloing the game. Like, I could take Gom on in Inferno on, like, you know, MP10, and he couldn't even touch my health. My health would never move. But it took forever to kill him because you just don't do enough damage. You see, she went down pretty quick right there. I'm pleased with that. So between how fast I can kill really big groups of mobs and elite packs, champions, and bosses, like I've been saying, you know, even with this really, I think my gear is crap. This build is just nuts. So it's a modification of the normal lightning build that I've been seeing. Because like I said, I don't have as much ways to escape damage and keep myself alive when push comes to shove. But I haven't really had a problem with it yet. I mean, I really don't die much at all. And I managed to take the mobs down pretty quickly. So I mean, look how fast this guy's going down. That's nuts. And that's just from a couple of people around him getting the blood explosions off. So once again, like I've been saying, the real great part about this build, or what really makes it work, are those blood explosions. And the synergy between it and the lightning build is just really nice. So once I get that lightning gear, it's just going to really increase it. Look at that. I just wiped out a treasure goblin and a champion in, what, maybe 15 seconds? Not even. Oh boy, I can't count today. I don't even think it was 10 seconds right there. That was quick. And once again, that was the last bounty for this bonus. So there's both the bonuses done. So I'm going to go over here and get rid of the staff because I don't need it anymore, obviously. We already did Whymshire. Go ahead and make mats out of all this stuff. And then drop the cash you gave me and see if we got anything good out of that. Now, so far, it's been 4 legendaries. And right now, we're sitting at about an hour. So 4 legendaries in that hour off of 2 worlds worth of bounties. And yes, you know, legendary in there. So 4 legendaries in that hour. That's not bad. That's about double what the good rate, you know, what everybody calls a good rate of farming them. So I'm pleased with getting double that. It's less than what I'm used to getting off here. Like I said, I normally get, you know, 6 or more off of an hour doing this. And that's just, it's insanity. And this guy's killing a lot slower than I will be once I get all that better gear on there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and jump into a rift now before I end the video. And look at it, right off the bat is Elite Pack right there. And we'll go ahead and see how long this rift will take us by this Elite Pack dying. should give us a good, yeah, see, that barely filled up at all, so this is actually going to be a really long rift, because there's probably, I want to say probably a 6-part rift, which is good, because we'll run into more elite packs. I mean, I don't really see a downside to it, other than you're not going to get blood shards as quick. But blood shards, really, they just help you get legendaries a little bit faster, because of the fact that you can gamble to try and get legendaries, but I've been having really bad luck with that lately. I haven't actually got a legendary off a gamble in the last about 5 or 6 times that I played, and I normally roll through all my shards the end of each time when I finish playing. It's actually pretty rare that I don't get legendaries off gambling, because they actually, it looks like they might have increased the percent chance of getting legendaries off of the gamble. But anyway, we're in part 2 of the rift right now, and say we're at about 40% completed already to the next boss. So yeah, I'm still gonna have to say that I think this is probably a 5 or 6 level rift, which is fine. Like I said, it gives me a better chance of running into more champions, so more legendary drops. At the same time, it'll slow the rate at which you're going to get blood shards, which isn't that big of a deal to me. And here we go, level 3 looks just like level 1 did. But now we're about 75–80% of the way done. I do believe I got to level 4 is all, and I stopped going down. But I would bet this was a 5 or 6 deep, because most of the levels I have cleared 100% on these before I go down to the next one. Oh yeah, here we go. See, there's a level 4 one right there. You can go ahead and pop in there. So anyway, we're getting pretty close to the end where the Rift Guardian's at. I'd really like some feedback on what you guys think about having some more group-friendly functionality characters in the Diablo games, rather than just the, really strong at solo and really strong at DPSing in a group guys. More along the lines of, buffs, debuffs, and healing. Because I really do think that would be a great addition to these games. It would just, it would add another level of difficulty, I think, to single player, which a lot of people aren't doing anymore. And it would add a new level of play and an actual level of caring about what your other guys in your group are getting gear-wise. I mean, there have been a few good groups that I've ran into that, somebody will get something dropped and they'll actually ask before they disenchant it if anybody else can use it. But for the most part, no one really cares. They just kind of run around and just keep getting their mats and thinking about only themselves. But if they managed to add like another level of difficulty perhaps to the game and made it so healers and people that buff and debuff a lot better came in, I think that would make group playing a lot more enjoyable, and people would be more concerned generally about if their healers geared up correctly or not. And there we go. So yeah, we're at level 5 and we ran into the Rift Guardian. So like I said, 5 or 6 levels in this thing. Yeah, I mean, there might even be more levels past this one, because I didn't really bother going much farther after I killed the Rift Guardian. This is actually one of my least favorite Rift Guardians, because he does tend to try and run away and he knocks you back, which is kind of annoying. Makes the kill time on him a lot slower, which is just, not really efficient. I'm trying to kill stuff as quickly as I can and farm this stuff. So anyway, let me know how many of you think that would be a good idea, and how many of you would actually go ahead and roll a healer, opposed to just going around and trying to maximize your DPS. You would have a whole new level to think about, DPS and toughness and a different stat for healing possibly. I think it would make a healer a very unique class on here. You would have to, try and choose between how much toughness, DPS, and healing power you need. You'd probably just focus on healing, but if your toughness isn't high enough, you're not going to stay alive long enough to keep your group up. And if you have no real DPS, then you're going to be useless unless you're healing, so I think that'd be a pretty fun challenge. I think I'd probably roll a healer. But here the Rift Guardian is down. Did not get a single legendary that entire rift, which is just really crappy and doesn't happen very often, honestly. But still, we had a good run earlier. And like I said, got out about 4 legendaries an hour, so that's not horrible. Yeah, one of them was just a mat, and one of them was just a blueprint also. But that's still, those are still legendary drops, so still count those. So right now I'm just running around the rift a little bit more. I want to clear out all the champion packs on this level before I exit the rift. Possibly see if there's a 6th level. Because blood shards, I normally max out on them pretty quickly, so I'm not too worried about quickly or efficiently getting blood shards as much as I am killing the champion packs in the rifts, because they normally have a pretty good density of champion packs in the rift, so I see no point in closing the rift early if I can check around the general area that I'm already in and see if there's a couple more champion packs for me. Now, unfortunately, that was the last champion pack, so I'm going to go ahead and close the rift now. I'm just going to disenchant all this stuff. And that'll about wrap it up for the video. This has been the new lightning build that I'm working on my barbarian. I hope you guys like it. Please click that like and subscribe button if you did enjoy it, and let me know what kind of content you guys would like to see in the future, and I'll keep throwing up videos. Until then, see you guys next time.